Hello, good evening. Welcome to News Night. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, here are stories making headlines tonight. As the SIM card registration self-service application goes live on the Google Play Store, industry experts raise concerns about data privacy and the safety of the SIM ownership information. Management of KNUST abolishes junior common room system and suspends all elections following the recent violent clashes on campus. Plans are underway to get antiretroviral drugs to the doorsteps of people as the Ghana AIDS Commission discloses the drug will soon be accessible at CHIPS compounds and pharmacies to help patients better manage the condition. And later, we'll take you to Angola, where that country's main opposition party rejects provisional results of the National Electoral Commission, claiming the process was marred by counting irregularities. Details are coming up shortly. Grateful for your time tonight. Now, the National Communications Authority has announced the introduction of an app intended for subscribers who have done Stage 1 of their SIM card registration to complete Stage 2. The GH SIM self-registration app was first announced by the Minister of Communications, Ursula Owusu, last month.
In announcing an extension of the deadline in re-registering SIM cards on Sunday, July 31, the Communications Minister, Ursula Owusu, said the app will be available to download on both Android and iOS, but yet to be launched on the Apple Store. The app provides another means for telecom subscribers to complete their SIM card re-registration using the Ghana card at a 5 Ghana cedi charge. However, subscribers who prefer to physically go to their service provider's registration points to complete Stage 2 can still do so. The National Communications Authority has urged users to reach out to its toll-free number 0800 110 622 or the authority's social media handles or the authority's website for any inquiries about the app. The SIM card re-registration is expected to come to an end on the 30th of September 2022.
So barely a day after the app was launched, concerns have been raised about its functionalities and capabilities. One such person not happy with the app is Selom Branty, who is the Vice President at Imani Center for Policy and Education, and is joined me on phone for a conversation on the back of this. Grateful for your time tonight, Selom. It appears you have issues with a new SIM card registration app. Tell us about it.
Good evening. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
I can.
Yes. So basically, that's the first issue that we had. Is the fact that the timeline for the release of the app has been very dramatic, because it was expected after the minister's announcement that the week after, which would have been the first week of August, the app would have been released for the general public. Be it as it may, it has taken almost 30 days for that to happen. That alone incapacitates the ability of people to be able to access the app and then do what is required. Seeing that we have a possible backlog of about 20 million sign-ups of the application. Secondly, it is quite cumbersome that everybody is going to have to register their SIM cards individually with the app as we go ahead. And it means that you cannot even batch register a bunch of SIM cards, and you have to register each and every one individually. And you would have to be surcharged 5 cedis for each registration of a SIM card.
Right. Selom, sorry to interrupt, but We're having difficulties hearing you, so if you can kindly reposition yourself and speak for us.
Okay, is it better now?
It is.
Okay, so simply, you are talking about people having to go through the same process for multiple SIM card registrations, which is not the best way to handle a situation like this. People should be able to type their multiple SIM cards onto one registration activity and then execute it. But most importantly, one of the issues we are raising, or one of the concerns we are raising, is the fact that the app's ownership does not seem to rest or vest in the NCA or the Ministry of Communications, but however is vested in an independent company called Excel Inc. Limited. It is shocking and surprising that for an app of this magnitude and this level of sensitivity, we are handing it over to unknown people, and basically, upon further analysis of the app, you would realize that it is just a clone of a private company's bill payment app with just a few modifications to suit system re-registration. We believe that that is not the best way to handle a mandated activity which has the full backing of the MOC, or the Ministry of Communications, and the NCA. And it is also problematic for us that the app data is routed through servers and other installations that are not residing in Ghana, which then creates data privacy problems. First of all, because that data can be handled or can be collected or can be ordered for collection by the jurisdictions where these apps reside. And by doing that, it also means that there are multiple points for which the data is going to be handled. And that for a program of this magnitude, where a lot of our sensitive data is going to be collected at one central point or a couple of servers, it is for us in the space, or for those of us who care about data privacy, these issues are big and require quite a lot more clarity and clarification from the ministry.
Right. Selom, you did mention that the app is not owned by the government, but by a private entity. Can you tell us which private entity owns the app and which country they come from?
So, per the records, it is a company called Excel Inc. Ltd. or Excel Inc. Inc. Limited, which in, even the name itself is interesting, because you are talking about an INC and then an LTD combined. But even beyond that, if you check the registration documentation, it is registered in the United Kingdom, and most of the associated developers of the app are not even Ghanaian. Right. For something of this magnitude, and considering that there are lots of Ghanaians who could be able to have done this, we thought that at a time when we are looking at creating homegrown solutions and domiciling a lot of our money right here at home, it is very, very counterintuitive that this kind of application is being developed by foreigners and by people who are going to have their money paid to them repatriated outside the country. Right. Even for an exercise of this magnitude, we would have thought that the charges would have been charges that would domicile here, or the beneficiary of such an application would have domiciled in this country.
Right.
But we are now having the classic case where we are going outside and bringing something outside in and pretending that it is homegrown. And I believe that in itself is not a very genuine way to handle this system.
Right. When the communications minister announced that an app will be launched on August 7th or August 2nd, it took at least 3 weeks before it was launched. It's finally launched, and it is not on iPhones or Apple's operating system. Does it come to you as a surprise that it is only available on Android?
I was not surprised, because for those of us in this space who have handled these things, deploying or developing Apple App Store, applications, require more convoluted and cumbersome processes of vetting than on the Google Play Store. But however, it is also very important to note that between 26 and 30% of all smartphones in Ghana are actually iOS phones. That is, they are phones that run on they are iPhones. And if we are going to look at excluding 30% of smartphone users for the time period, already we are about 26 to 28 days into the extension period. And now we are also going to have to wait probably a week or more for the iOS app to be deployed. It means that we are excluding people. And this is a clear example of very poor stakeholder management, very poor project management and implementation, very poor conception of how these things are going, and very poor anticipation of the objectives that have to be set out for an undertaking of this magnitude.
Right. Selom, do you know anyone who personally has been able to register their SIM card using the app?
I have not been able to do that, but in the coming days, I'm going to do my research. A bunch of us who are very interested in the comings and goings of what is happening are going to do our research, and we'll come out with a far better documentation of this for the education of the general public. In fact, there are several aspects of it, like the privacy rules and the rest, the privacy conditions, etc., that we have raised several issues about. Especially the fact that people above 15 years are supposed or can or should be able to sign up on the app, but the privacy statement that you have to undertake states that people between 15 and 18 cannot or should not be allowed to register on this app without some kind of express permission from someone. These are issues that we believe have not been clearly thought through and need to be thought through.
Right. Selom Brantey is with Imani Africa. Thank you very much for speaking to us this evening. Now, the University Council of KNUST has abolished the Junior Common Room system following the recent disturbances arising from the Hall Week celebrations of the University Hall, also known as Katanga. At an emergency meeting held on August 26th to discuss the report of the fact-finding committee of the university, the council maintains that all Hall Week and SRC Week celebrations have been suspended indefinitely. The council openly condemned the violence that ensued on the university campus some weeks ago. The council issued a stringent warning to students and charged them to live in harmonious environment. Now, the University Council further stated that any student who participates in the organization of morale and for procession shall be dismissed. Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined on phone by Anthony Aveji, who is the organizer for Katanga Hall Alumni. Thank you very much for speaking to me tonight. Did you see this coming from the management of the school?
Well, thanks for having me, and good evening to all our listeners. Well, to some extent, yes, you could see, because this may not be the first time that they will be issuing this, applying these sanctions.
Right. Anyone who has been to tertiary knows the importance of JCR. And how is this actually going to affect the effective running of the various halls on campus?
Yeah, thank you once again. In fact, and I'm sure alumni see this, maybe for want of a better expression, as a knee-jerk reaction. I also think I can consider it as like throwing away the baby with the bathwater. JCRs are meant to groom leaders, to make people become leaders, make people matured, and take decisions, and also mentor and direct other folks. So you can also see it as, as a country, we've been practicing democracy for some years now. But of course, you've seen that it's not a perfect system. It's not near perfection at all.
Right.
It's come with its own challenges. Okay. I mean, does that mean that we should throw the kind of democracy we practice and go for another system of governance. I don't think so.
Right.
I think what the university needs to do is to get to the bottom of the matter, of the challenge, like the current crisis, the Katanga Unity Challenge. Get to the bottom, and try to find solutions. Once you get to the bottom, we find the challenges, the problems, and then we try to solve them. I believe the university
Right.
has just realized this challenge. How long has this challenge been?
As an alumni of Katanga Hall, would you advise the current student leadership to appeal this decision?
Well, they have leadership, as in the JCR. I'm sure they will go into some discussions with the university authorities. Their roles from JCR to SRC to NUCS and all that. I'm sure they will take it up from there and see how best they can be on the same page with university management and authorities.
Right. Anthony Aveji, thank you very much for speaking to us tonight. He's an alumni of Katanga Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Let's bring you more stories tonight as the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission has disclosed that plans are currently underway to get antiretroviral drugs to pharmacies and CHIPS compounds to make them more accessible to the affected persons. Dr. Stephen Tuahene said the Commission is facing a funding gap and urged churches and benevolent organizations to support the Commission manage HIV infections and prevent the spread of the disease.
Statistics from the National STI and HIV/AIDS Control Program suggest a total of 23,495 people tested positive for HIV in the first half of 2022. This, according to the Ghana AIDS Commission, shows a sharp decline in new infections over the last 5 years, but there is still cause for worry.
When you look at the data from the trend from 2019 to 2022, you see quite clearly that in 2019 it was more than 35,000, and it keeps reducing until 2022, where we had a 23,495. And so when you look at the percentage decline, it's about 33%. That's fantastic. I mean, it's quite impressive. It means that we are now seeing less number of people living with HIV. And that, in my view, tells us that the treatment program is working, because we can see that between 2017 and 2021, new infections are also declining. So far, within that period of 5 years, new infections have declined by 26%. And within the same period, AIDS-related deaths have also declined by 38%, almost 40%, just within 5 years. And that, for us, is very encouraging.
Dr. Tuahene says soon, antiretroviral drugs will be more accessible in communities.
We have medicines all over the country, in the teaching hospitals, regional hospitals, district hospitals, some polyclinics, some health centers, and efforts are being made by the Ghana Health Service and its stakeholders to bring the medicines to the doorsteps of the client. And so it is possible that very soon people can pick their medicines from CHIPS compound or from pharmacies in their communities.
Global Fund for HIV/AIDS campaign programs in the country has dwindled, and now the AIDS Commission is looking internally for support.
The funding issue is our number one headache. It's the most challenging problem we have. The fact is that we get funding from the Global Fund, and the Global Fund 2 years ago decided that of the 350,000 people living with HIV in Ghana, they can only provide treatment for 125,000, which means the 225,000 remaining must be taken care of domestically by government, if I should put it that way. But government hasn't got the resources to meet this requirement. And so we have so many people that if we are not able to manage the treatment program well, will not be able to access medicines. And so Ghana government by law has set up the AIDS Fund, and we are trying to work with the Ghanaian public to resource the fund so that we will be able to buy the drugs, not only drugs, the test kits, the reagents, laboratory supplies, and condoms. They are all to be provided 100% by Ghana. No donor is giving money for that. And so we have to work together as a people to fill the funding gap. Now we have funding gap of about 60% of the cost of the National HIV and AIDS program. And therefore we encourage churches, the private sector, individuals to support the Commission in resourcing the fund so that we can take care of our brothers and sisters who live with HIV.
The public has, however, been urged to protect themselves against the virus.
So Metro News hit the streets to find out what the citizenry make of the high rate of new infections and how they are protecting themselves. Watch this.
You went out to check your HIV status.
Was it last month? Last month was the last 2 months when I was not feeling well. I went for checkup. I just went to hospital. I was not feeling well, so when I went, then they checked everything throughout.
Which do you prefer, protected or unprotected sex?
At the first, why should I protect myself? I can't eat toffee with rubber. I can't drink cocoa with rubber like that. I need to enjoy rawly, feel rawly. Yeah? I need to enjoy everything so that I know this is what I'm enjoying. Why should I be scared of something? No.
No, but you know, because of these STIs and STDs,
I'm not scared of any disease. I'm a disease on my own.
When was the last time I called hospital say one can check HIV status?
Minko. Oh, say me ankasa me hwe mu so yie. Na me so me nipa bia me mpefi.
I don't go to the hospital. I practice proper sanitation habits.
HIV dey enfa efin ho.
Oh, say enu su no
HIV enam yare.
Etimi nam enam aduane a ubedi. Oh, me prefer condom. Say bema bia dey o so ntimi bon ho ban. Na ntimi hwe ho so yie because yare na dosu e wo kru. Say won ti say want me an hwe ho so yie abetimi akofa yare bia no udwin wa onti ase.
Hospital kra me call ya che pa. Almost me say 5 years in me call hospital kra da.
Say me ka say
I have not visited the hospital since last 5 years, even though I would love to. It's important I do because I have multiple sex partners.
So far as I may have say, me holy, me ne ma have sex near the identity. Me to me meko pa.
Like I say, from what you are saying, only one sex partner, baby.
Okay, like any baby, but just me one sex partner.
which one is your preference? The one with condom and answer without condom?
With condom, because
I prefer protected sex to unprotected sex.
I think say we have been now pair and bad there. So you use condom for rare.
Why need to? So share HIV no send your assassin no. Omusi peja no man ye hu a base se unya bia.
HIV has been touted scary, so it feels uncomfortable to go testing. The stigmatization is also unbearable.
Well, some of them also have some piece of advice for Ghanaian youth.
Advice I'm giving first of all, no, and papa. Onwale now yes sex ya nyawo ye Christo ni anase ye Islam anase ye
sex is ungodly for single people.
Onwale ya sex ni homa homa wo no ma o ma dey o ma wale
Metumi aka chebe me bia say adwaman anase me van say too much of guests and too much of sex no obe chenyi ma mu no enye ka be me bia jai dey na kai.
Right, you can share your thoughts with us on our social media handles concerning the stories we've shared with you so far. We've talked about the SIM card re-registration app. We've also talked about the high rate of HIV in the country. Go to facebook.com/Metro TV Ghana and Twitter @Metro TV GH. News 9 returns after this break.
They think they are coming on tomorrow, but I've told them that President Nana Addo will never do such a wicked things to us. So they should go and rest. At the right time, if we have to move.
Welcome back to Newsnight. Now, the Assemblyman for Mamobi, Wisdom Boatin, has bemoaned the silence of government following the decision by the MCE of the area to demolish the homes of over 2,000 residents in the community. He made this known after a scheduled meeting with the Regional Minister Henry Quartey failed to take place with just a day to the deadline given to them to leave.
I had a call yesterday that this morning there will be a stakeholders meeting between the Assembly members of Ayawaso North and also the imams and some opinion leaders and market of the Queen Mothers. We will meet and discuss with the regional minister to look the way forward about this issue. But we're briefed that the meeting has been cancelled. What we were told is that after that meeting, the minister will visit us and at least give some 1 or 2 words to us. But that one has been cancelled. So as you can see, people are ready to meet the minister, but it has been cancelled. So I have to tell them to move to their various places. Because there's tension because we know tomorrow they are coming. They think they are coming on tomorrow. But I've told them that President Nana Addo will never do such a wicked things to us. So they should go and rest. At the right time, if we have to move, I'll tell them that now it's due time for us to move. Yes, we'll be very happy because that's what the community is waiting for. And that's the reason why we even did the demonstration, because several petitions has been written to the various institutions, but they are not responding. So they thought they have been left out or they have been abandoned as Ghanaians. That's why their wishes to meet the government, any representative from the state, to come and talk to us. Those that will be affected, it's almost about 10,000 and over. And look at this situation, that the MC is giving us just 21 days to evacuate from the land. We see it's unfair. At first they give us 8 days, then they move it to 21 days. But my brother, you and I know that
we are not in normal time and things are very difficult. If you ask one person to go and rent room at this moment, where is that person going to get money from? We are not pursuing or trying to litigate with the state that will not move. But what we are saying is that we cannot litigate with the state that the land belongs to our predecessors. No. But what we are saying is that we are aware that this land belongs to the government. But since 1967, that we preside on this land, we have been paying AME. Now, I was enough. And we have most of the receipts. And some of the story building, you see it, they have their line title certificate. So the state should exercise patience.
To the Central Region now, where 2 people have been arrested by the Ewutu-Bojuase District Police Command for allegedly stealing fuel at a telecommunication transmission site. One other suspect, however, managed to escape and is currently being sought after by the police.
Police officers say they rushed to the scene after a distress call from a supervisor in charge of a telecommunication transmission site around the Methodist School in Ewutu-Bojuase that fuel in the generator plant at the site had been siphoned by a group of persons. The suspects, Bernard Al-Hassan, a 32-year-old driver, and Samuel Lufay, also known as Melody, who is 29 years old, are in police custody. The main suspect, identified as Oko, is currently on the run. 19 gallons containing the siphoned diesel were retrieved at the time of the arrest.
Still in the Central Region, where students of Feteman Senior High School at Gomua Fete in the region walked several hours to get water, a situation which has affected their academic work. After several years, help has finally come. Here's more.
Students of Feteman Senior High School for years struggled to get potable water. They depended on a small water pump, which was used by residents as well. The situation affected the academic performance. The Omankrado of Gomua Fete Traditional Council, Nana Kwesi Kwanza, then funded the construction of a mechanized water system to tackle the problem. This brought excitement to the school.
Please, we're having a lot of challenges. Sometimes we find it difficult to get water. When they close the tap, we have to go to town to look for water. And sometimes when the water is locked down, it comes maybe around 3 days, so we have to wait. Within that 3 days, and if you don't get water, we have to go to town looking for water. And sometimes we have to go and beg people for water. Sometimes if you don't get water, you have to buy water from town or anywhere before we come back.
We don't have water. Some use only 1 pail to bath, and it is not enough. As a lady, you have to take in many water to bath. It affects us because time that you have to go to class to learn, now that others are in town looking for water to come and bath.
Headmistress of the school, Sarah Mauto Kwame, believes the project is timely.
Management and the entire student body, I wish to express my appreciation to Nana and his elders for giving us this great gift of water. In fact, water has been a problem to us. On many occasions, we get water shortage where Nana has to call on the fire service and other bodies to bring us water. At times, due to water shortage, we have to close down classes for 2-3 days. Today, God willing, we have had this precious gift, and I think that water problem has been solved forever in the history of the school. So all we have to say is a big thank you to Nana and all the people behind this idea.
Meanwhile, the Omankrado called out the MP and DCE of the area for failing to continue a similar project which was initiated by the outgone NP, Kojo Asemanyi. The chief believes the project, when completed, would augment the existing facility.
Your former MP, Ayasumani, over 2 years, you two na dear son. I say MP Awaba and DCE Awaba. ɛbɛtoa so ɔmo ntumi ntoa so na fɛtɛman school no ɔmo brɛ ɛwɔ nsuo.
I'm worried about the fact that our MP and DCE have neglected a similar project initiated by the former MP. Nana was continually worried by the school, so I decided to initiate this water project. I entreat the current MP and DCE to complete the old project.
Aka nyoma kakra ɔmo de besi so. Ɔmo ntra sɛ ɔmo de ba besi so. Na fɛtɛman boho no yɛ ba kwa ɔmo. Ɔmo so deɛ ne bɛka na ɛyɛ mienu a aboa school no ama school no so Oma adie hi omo no abafo ne ahwe ade foforo.
We'll stay a bit more in the central region because the Gomoa East Health Directorate is appealing to the Traditional Council to fast-track expansion works on the Gomoa Feta Chips compound. This, according to the Directorate, will help reduce the current pressure on the facility as well as improve healthcare delivery.
The Traditional Council paid a visit to the Chips compound to assess progress of expansion works at the facility. The council is seeking to upgrade the Chips compound to a clinic. While acknowledging the efforts of the chiefs, the public health director pleaded on contractors to fast-track the expansion work. Currently, the Chips compound can only admit 3 patients at a time in its single ward shared by both males and females.
On behalf of my district director, Felix Adipari, and his team, we received these items and we are so happy to have this because it's going to go a long way to encourage mothers to come to the facility and also to patronize the facility, especially those who deliver at home. We want them to come to the facility to come and deliver, and so we thank them so much. We also thank the whole community, especially the chiefs who came here to do this presentation. I think we also reminded them of the project that they have started, and they promise to continue and complete it nicely.
Members of the Traditional Council promised to see to the timely completion of the project.
We have not forgotten about this project. We've made it our main priority to have it completed in a year's time so that we can upgrade the status of this facility to a clinic. We would implore you to continually remind us.
Na botae no modi kan ye chip compound ha de ye ba ye bibi wa ha na ye fi chip compound na ya den ye do clinic enti nje de be di dwuma bi wa ha na dwuma no on fi yin malo titir na ye da afi no an ya da odi kan na mje di de ye be da afi bo wi afidanse bi dam no enna ha no efi chip compound na ekodo clinic.
They also donated some items to the facility.
From the central region, let's now take you to the northern region where Vectapest, a subsidiary of waste management giant Zoomlion Ghana Limited, has launched a new strategy for fighting malaria in the region by targeting the mosquito larvae at the infant stage.
Zoomlion Ghana Limited, through its subsidiary Vectapest Company Limited, in partnership with the Ghana Health Service and the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, is implementing a mosquito control strategy known as larva source management. The strategy seeks to complement already existing ones, such as indoor residual spraying and the use of insecticide-treated mosquito nets. This new strategy is to tackle the life cycle of a mosquito by targeting it at the infant stage. An environmentally friendly biochemical specifically meant for mosquito larvae is introduced into the active mosquito breeding site to ensure that the larva is killed at that stage without developing into an adult mosquito. Abdul Aziz Yel Suma is the coordinator for the program.
Sometimes you finish eating your meal in the evening and you are still in your compound trying to have a word with your family. You can get mosquito bites in your compound before you go in to sleep in the net. And then when you look at indoor residual spraying, mosquitoes are beginning to develop some resistance against it. So with an intervention like LSE, we are able to target the mosquito at that very point so that we control it and it doesn't even get to your house, let alone you sleeping in a net or being asked to vacate your house for it to be sprayed for you.
He also explained how the chemicals would be introduced at mosquito breeding sites when identified.
When we identify any water that is around, we first of all test to see whether there is mosquito larvae in it. If it tests positive, then we introduce the chemical into it. Then we pick the coordinate of that particular point and we are able to monitor every point in the region.
We have some good news to share with you because on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022, we appealed for help for little Zara, who is battling with leukemia. The doctors needed 60,000 Ghana cedis for her treatment. 3 days later, the 60,000 Ghana cedis needed has been raised, and we are grateful to everyone who either contributed, shared the flyer, and said a prayer. Parents of little Zara are very grateful to benevolent Guineans for their kind gesture. Little Zara now has hope of getting better and living for many years. Once again, Metro TV and the parents of little Zara are eternally grateful. Newsnight returns after this break. And in business tonight, President of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, Teria Ben Ahmed, has admonished players in the industry to be principled and strictly adhere to the ethical standards of the insurance profession.
Claim is a technical aspect of insurance. It requires insurance professionals to be trained to be able to provide effective services when it comes to claims. And so when it comes to professional insurance professionals trained, they are trained to ensure that we sell the right product. They are trained to ensure that we treat customers fairly. They are trained to ensure that we service you well. And they are trained to ensure that we pay valid claims delightfully. And so we expect that with the number of insurance professionals that we are now admitting and training, insurance services in the country are going to be provided effectively, and the market are going to be very excited about insurance in Ghana. The message to them is simple. We have said to them that first, the certificates don't mean nothing until the knowledge acquired is reflected in their practice. And the good people of Ghana appreciate insurance and now see insurance as something that is valuable to their own lifestyle and the development of this country. We have also said to them that it is important that they commit to continuous professional development because the world in which we are today changes every second. And so we need to keep up with developing ourselves and not say we have arrived because of the attainments we have achieved today, but we should continue to strive for knowledge as the world continues to change, as the needs of the customers we serve change, so that we can continue to stay relevant and serve Ghana better.
The expected $750 million loan from Afrexim Bank has hit the accounts of the Ghana government. Now the government is expecting a total of $2 billion in loans from different sources, including Afrexim Bank.
$50 million, $187 million, and 193 million euros. The money has been transferred to the Bank of Ghana for a cedi equivalent to help shore up its forex reserve. The other chunk of the expected $2 billion is the $1.3 billion cocoa syndicated loan. Prior to the receipt of the loan facility, the Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah stated that Ghana must ensure its exports cover increases to cushion the government's effort to address the cedi depreciation.
And the Bank of Ghana is again expected to receive the first tranche of the $1.3 billion Cocoa Board cocoa syndicated loan by October 2022.
second tranche of $390 million is also expected to be received from November 2022 to February 2023. According to reports, the fund will be drawn down from the Ghana International Bank in London, one of the participating banks in the program. The inflow is expected to aid the central bank deal with the current depreciation of the cedi. Therefore, the Bank of Ghana will take the dollars and give the cedi equivalent to Cocoa Board for cocoa purchases for the next crop season. The loan agreement was scheduled to have been completed by August 25, 2022, after the participating banks were engaged. Meanwhile, the banks are Standard Chartered Bank, Rabobank, Ghana International Bank, French Investment Bank, Natixis, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, and one of Japan's largest banks, MUFG.
Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has called off its planned shop closures scheduled for Monday, August 29, 2022. This was after a meeting with the Council of State.
Earlier this week, the Ghana Union of Traders Association organized a press conference to draw government's attention to how the depreciation of the cedi is affecting their business. The leaders resolved that they will close down all their shops on Monday, August 29, to demonstrate particularly against the persistent depreciation of the Ghana cedis.
There have been a series of pressure and agitations coming from members of the trading community on the leadership of Guta to register our frustrations and desperations to the government to appreciate the extent to which we are suffering as a result of the depreciation of the cedi. By the details of the trading community, by the details of the trading community, by the details of the trading community, we declare closure of shops in Accra on Monday, 29 August.
The public relations officer of Guta, Joseph Paddy, says they reached the decision to suspend their intended demonstration after a crunch meeting with the Council of State, who assured them their concerns will be duly addressed by government.
What we've done is that we have suspended the closure of the shop for a month, and we have put out some roadmaps. A committee has been set by the Council of State where Guta has about 9-member team. I'm part of the team, and the Council of State also has a committee on trade. Monday we are meeting, and we have a short-term, a medium-term, and a long-term proposal that we put before them. So they've assured us that, in fact, all the issues that we have raised, they are legitimate, and they share interests, and they share our concern. They even add more onto what we were saying. So as a result of that intervention, we resolved to halt and suspend the closure till 1 month.
Guta says government has up to a month to address their concerns.
We return with the latest in entertainment and international news after the break. Welcome back to Entertainment News. So we spoke to people about the evolution of men's fashion in the country earlier on Entertainment Review. Have a look.
Years back and now, what's been the change for you?
Yeah, a lot. Because it looks like now the men of today now understand fashion and also want to be with the trends of the season. Unlike before, it's only about the women.
Okay.
So I think this is a bit of a change here now.
Gospel musician Perez Music's glorified concert with MOG Music, Akese Brimpong, Ife Grace, and Peter will be happening tomorrow, August 28, 2022, at the Victory Bible Church headquarters, located at Awoshi here in Accra. According to Perez, the glorified concert is a project to equip young people. That's it for entertainment. International news is next.
The Pakistan government has declared devastating floods a national emergency after nearly 1,000 people died and more than 30 million are without shelter as monsoon rains continues to lash the South Asian nation. At least 937 people have died since mid-June, including 343 children, according to the National Disaster Management Authority, with large swaths of the southwestern province of Balochistan remaining submerged, bringing back the memory of the devastating 2010 floods. Morocco has recalled its ambassador to Tunis for consultations and cancelled its participation in a Pan-African Investment Conference after Tunisia's president hosted the head of the Polisario Front, which wants independence from Western Sahara. Morocco, which regards Western Sahara as its territory, said on Friday that Tunisia's decision to invite Brahim Ghali to an African Development Summit this weekend was hostile